Riders on buses like this one can soon expect to see what's called a passenger counter. Take a look right here. When someone like you or I get on a bus, this device will record when and where we get on. According to City Transit, this will help to track ridership. Now, this is the roundabout we're talking about, and as you can see here, the distance from the curb to the roundabout isn't all that big. But according to the city, drivers of large vehicles are responding to the new addition just as they're supposed to. I'm standing here on a side street just down the road from Stadium, and up there cars are moving quite easily. But as you can see here, there's still about 3 inches of ice on this road, and that seems to be the trend throughout the neighborhood. I captured a few photos of standing water near Jefferson City today, which you can find here on our website. Last year around this time, the soil looked a little more like this. Hard and dry. But I talked to a few farmers today who said after the recent downpours, the scene is a little different. Cyberbullying is different than the type of bullying that we're used to be seeing in hallways of school buildings like this one. Insults and derogatory comments are now just as likely to be sent via text message or in a message on Facebook. The problem, though, is how it's perceived. Any homeowner can test heat travel using an infrared thermometer. The difference between the temperature of the home's interior walls compared to that of the home's exterior walls corresponds to the home's insulation value. And the higher that value is, the better your home stays insulated. Police in India have confirmed that there were toxic pesticides in the food that killed 23 children earlier this week. The pump system is designed so that way if water overflows from the creek, it can feed into a trough located under this grade. The water is then pumped up here into this vault and then back into the watershed away from the trail. Members of Solid Rock Church in Cole County finished up with a 2-day rummage sale earlier this afternoon. The goal was to raise money for a mission trip to Ethiopia. The church raised about $1,200 for 6 teens and 9 adults who will be headed to Africa. For this group, not only will the trip be about spreading the word of God, but receiving a life-changing experience. I'm here at the construction site of what will eventually be Old 63 Grindstone Pedway. As you can see by the pile of trees behind me, the goal here today was destruction. A tiny Miller County town was one of those areas hit hardest by the storms we saw earlier this month, specifically the school district in St. Elizabeth. Rather than let that damage dampen the start of the school year, though, the community rallied together to move forward. Lick Branch Cove is often a weekend and summer getaway.
They're here for fun, recreation, fishing, and enjoyment.
And Rocky Mount Sewer District is trying to keep it this way, but cleaner. The district plans to build a plant that uses air mixed with microorganisms to treat raw sewage to a level that's safe to re-enter the environment. The amount of drainage from the system back into the creek would be about the equivalent of turning on your garden hose.
It's all treated and it'll be coming out 98% pure water, drinkable water. So that's the difference. Right now, it's probably terrible.
But some are worried about the creek and this discharge emptying into their cove. For them, the issue is having the plant in their backyards.
I support the idea of a sewer system. We just think there's a better place to discharge it. We're trying to clean up the cove. We don't think putting the water back into the cove is a good idea for the environment.
But with a permit in hand from the State Department of Natural Resources, the district will take the next steps in the construction of the plant. When Joseph Simons boarded his flight to Chicago this afternoon, he was instructed to power off that tablet he's using and store it in his carry-on, something he says is quite a hassle.
I would have to turn off all my electronic equipment, which is a little annoying if you've been doing some work and you want to carry on with it. There's that sort of break in continuity.
Like Simons, anyone who wanted to continue typing away, they'd have to wait to pull it back out and then turn it on later in the flight. But soon, everyone will be able to keep using their devices even before the plane reaches 10,000 feet, a change some say is not only long overdue.
Technology keeps advancing, and so some of the rules apply to old technology, and so lives of people are so different now. If you've got a tablet or some of those new items, that makes a lot more sense to be able to have access to them, and then you can use those devices all through the flight.
But one they'll definitely enjoy.
It's far more convenient, and I think it's a much better arrangement, and I'm glad it's being introduced. So on my next trip to the States, I'll be able to take advantage of that.